Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the TBScouts Talking Head Show. I'm your host Boris.
And I'm Eric Talley.
We have another exciting episode lined up for you. Another college coach this time, Tally. I'll go ahead and let you introduce our guest for today.
Yes, thank you. Coming all the way from Texas Lutheran University, Coach Austin Falke. And you guys are stationed out of Seguin, Texas, correct, Coach?
Correct.
All right. So as we always start off every show, we always ask for, quick bio or tell us a little bit more about you. So let's go ahead. Can you do that for us, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in a small town called Thorndale, not too far from where we're at, about an hour and a half or so. Was fortunate, had some pretty good teams there, played baseball and basketball there, won state championships in both. After that, had an opportunity to go play at Stephen F. Austin. So I played 3 years there and then decided I graduated a little early, get into coaching and was a grad assistant there. After that, I was fortunate enough to get on at Schreiner University for 2 years, was over there, had some good success, and then came over to Texas Lutheran, and I've been here now. I think this is year 9, and then I'm going into year 1 as the head coach.
Nice. So this is going to be your first year as the head coach?
First year. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you were TLU, and what division are you guys?
Texas Lutheran is Division III. We're in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. We got Trinity, Schreiner, Southwestern, University of Dallas, Centenary College, University of St. Thomas, and Colorado College. I believe that rounds it out, and Trinity.
Nice. Yeah, the group of D3 schools here in San Antonio is good, man. Good schools, good opportunities for kids, good coaches, good communities and cultures. So there's a lot of opportunities for the Hoopers, here in San Antonio. That's kind of a side note. But I'm going back. So this upcoming season, which is going to be the 2022-2023 basketball season, is going to be your first year as the head coach. You were the assistant there for 9 years. Can you just talk a little bit about, I guess, your history there at TLU? 9 years as an assistant coach, man. I mean, you've been around the program for a long time. What happened and what allowed you to become the head coach now, and how are you going to change the program?
It's been fortunate. We've had a lot of success since I've been at Texas Lutheran. A nice little, just throwing this out there because I think it's unique to the college coaching. But my first 2 years at Schreiner, I was with then first-time head coach Jimmy Smith, who then we were there 2 years, and one of our other assistants was Connor Kirkendall. And so Coach Smith got the job at Texas Lutheran. I came over to Texas Lutheran with them. Coach Kirkendall got the job at Schreiner. Fast forward to where we are now. Coach Smith is the head coach at Trinity. Coach Kirkendall is the head coach at Southwestern. His former assistant's the head coach at Schreiner. And now I'm going into the first year as the head coach at Texas Lutheran. I think that's just a very unique thing. I don't think you see that happen very often, especially at the college level, where we're all 3 members that were on a coaching staff are now head coaches in the same conference, all within about an hour of each other. So I think that's pretty unique. But we came over to Texas Lutheran and immediately had a lot of success. We took over a program that kind of struggled last couple of years in 2014, 2015. They had some good pieces there. We brought in some good pieces. We started out the year pretty rough, like 0-4 or something like that, and ended up turning it around, ended up winning conference in our first year at Texas Lutheran. Second year, we had a phenomenal group, all those guys returning, and brought in some good pieces that year in 15, 16, and ended up, we got ranked in Division III in the top 20, and, I think won it again. And then after that, Coach Smith had left, and they brought in Coach Mike Wacker, who is, you guys probably know him. He was a Hall of Fame coach at Judson High School, played at UT, and a phenomenal person to learn from. He came in as the head coach, promoted me as the associate head coach when he first came in. Worked with him the last 6 years and got, just so much knowledge and information that he passed on to me. And got to work with him, and we won a couple more championships in our time there. So I've been pretty fortunate. The 8 years I've been an assistant, we've won our league 4 out of the 8 years, and played for the championship five out of the 8 years. And so I feel like I've learned a lot, had some good mentors. And really, I'm just looking to continue what we've been doing and see if we can take it further. But it's small steps, baby steps along the way. And I'm really excited about the group that we have, and looking forward to our first practice on October 15th.
Nice. And man, I have a couple questions going through my head. First off, just since you mentioned the first practice is on October 15th, so at this point in the season, here we are, October
2nd.
October 2nd. Has the roster for your team for this season been filled, and is the cutoff done already and everything for this year?
Yeah. Got, I think we have 16 guys on a roster, and yeah, we're done obviously for this year. We're not adding anyone else or anyone, no additional pieces or anything like that. But they're all in, and we'll see what we can get going on October 15th.
Hey, real quick, Coach. Let me change gears real quick before we start really talking about the program and the players. So I heard you say you played 3 years. You went to college yourself for 3 years, and then you kind of stopped and got into coaching. So can you kind of elaborate on that? Like, what made you want to, after you finished playing, what made you want to coach? And then what advice could you give, not just to other aspirating coaches, but players that play the game, and what other things can they do other than just when they finish playing?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to be a coach probably when I was about a sophomore, junior in high school. I knew that I just loved the game of basketball and wanted to be around it all my life, and so I knew that that was something I wanted to do. I was fortunate, so I was a walk on at Stephen F. Austin, had some good opportunities. You go through the ups and downs being a walk on and stuff, and I didn't get a lot of playing time first couple of years. Junior year, I averaged probably just shy of 10 minutes a game, which was more than I ever thought I'd get. So I'm very grateful for it. Got a couple of rings when we were there. And I knew I graduated early. I came in credits and stuff, and I knew I wanted to get in coaching. So college was the route that I really was interested in, and I was fortunate. That time gave me a opportunity to be a graduate assistant. Got to learn a lot from him and the assistant coaches that were there, and really just fell in love with the college game itself. Just everything that goes along with being a college coach. You got guys that are mature, that are hungry, that are wanting to prove themselves, and you're fighting for that NCAA tournament. The song that comes on and stuff, and everything that came about college. I just knew that was the route I wanted to go. Not everyone needs to figure it out that quick, like I did. And I've been fortunate. Like I said, there's been ups and downs along the road. There always will be, no matter what venture you go into. But that's what's great about college athletics, is you get to learn and figure things out, and, use your resources, use your networks, and the guidance and mentors that can help you along the way. But I think when you find that avenue of passion that you want to really follow, you got to follow it, and you got to go all in with it. Otherwise, you're gonna be wondering what ifs all the time. And that's one thing I've been fortunate. I haven't had to wonder about what ifs, because everything's kind of panned out and worked out for me. But a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice along the way, no doubt.
Okay, thank you.
Real quick, just going back to your roster, when typically in the year do you fill your roster? Because I know that's like sometimes just for all my recruiting people out there that are trying to get recruited. Like, let's just say like the class of 2022s that just graduated this past year. They might still be trying to go to elite camps and still trying to get recruited and stuff like that. But when do college teams usually fill their cutoff? Is it when the semester starts? Is it after the semester starts? When are you guys usually done?
It all depends. Every school is different with what they do. Some schools, they have a certain cutoff date with acceptance and when you can get into the school and stuff like that. We're pretty much year round, so that's really good. Some years, it's August by the time we're done. Other years we're done in May. It all depends on what pieces we're trying to fill, how many we're trying to fill. Once we get to that point, if we feel like we got some quality pieces in and stuff like that, and the quality numbers, then so it kind of varies. Our goal is always to kind of be done around May, obviously. So then you can start looking at the next year and what pieces you might need for that, and kind of focus in that group. But I think we finished this year probably around June. We had one late piece, some situations going on, but pretty much we were done around June, and started from there being able to focus on the next class, the 2023 class that we're on now. So it all depends on how recruiting is going and things like that. And I think what recruits got to realize is who they're being recruited by, and where they kind of want to be, and really understand what they're searching for. What kind of interest are they getting? Are they hitting up coaches? What kind of feedback are they getting from coaches? Do they feel like they're getting led on, or, do they have legit offers, and then making decisions as they need to go along? But I think elite camps are great. I think they're extremely valuable, not only just from getting yourself in front of college coaches, but also kind of learning different things that those coaches are teaching them. And so they can apply that as they go to other places and stuff like that. But we try to do elite camp. We used to do them, and then when COVID went on, it kind of tracked us back a little bit. But we try to do one in the fall. If we can't do one in the fall, we try to do one in the spring. But I think you got to go to the places that that you have an opportunity. That's a level that you're going to, and then seeing what transpires from there and stuff like that. But we go to all these events, have good ideas of who we're trying to go after, and then we work ourselves through that list of guys.
On that note, how does that offer process work in the recruiting process? So, because I can imagine it's kind of like herding cats almost, where you might have like 5 guys that you're interested in. Maybe you offer 5 guys, and then those 5 guys in their own heads, they could be thinking, who knows? They could be thinking that they're looking for another offer, maybe not ready to commit, maybe the fit's not right. So it's not like they tell you right away, we're going to accept your offer. So how does it usually work as far as like you submit an offer to the players, and then they say like, I'll accept your offer, and then you got to like send them a letter, and then they sign it, and then it's official? Or how does it like, how do you really like seal the deal?
So our level is a little different, because we don't have athletic scholarships. So everything that they get is based on academic scholarships, merit scholarships, financial aid, things like that. So it's a little bit of a different process for that. We treat it fairly similar to everyone else. So like if we're recruiting a guy that we really like, and hey, you have an opportunity to be a part of our team, this is your offer, everything like that. They just have to understand, they got to go through the admissions process, get accepted, do the FAFSA, see what everything gets, because it's not just about what's the basketball experience like, what's the academic experience like, what's the location like. There's another piece for us, which involves the financial piece. And we're well aware of that. And we try to, as much as we want players, it's got to make sense all the way around. If it doesn't make sense all the way around, we don't want to put players in situations where they're uncomfortable, or they feel like they're pushing past what they're able to do, from what they can afford. So we try to be very honest in that standpoint. But as soon as a player wants to basically verbally commit, they deposit, pay their deposit. We can send them a celebratory signing form. For us at our level, it's non-binding. So it doesn't really guarantee anything like that, but it's something that they can have, and they can do a signing ceremony and stuff like that. But that's kind of how it works for us at our level.
So basically, the player at any time, you can extend them an offer, however you extend that offer, and then once the player just kind of verbally commits back to you guys, or says, yes, I want to play for you guys, then they pretty much, you guys will start the process, and then it's pretty much done from there.
Yeah, it pretty much there. It's they got to pay the deposit. They got to. We can send them that form. Like I said, it's just a celebratory signing form.
And that makes it official. It sounds like that's kind of, and that's what kind of what I'm trying to get at is that
Yeah.
like there's another step that kind of makes it a little bit more official, where it's like, yes, I know I said it, but this is because they're basically claiming a spot on your roster, so you guys need to make sure that you got commitment from the
The
players.
deposit really kind of shows us. They pay that deposit. It's like, okay, this is probably going to happen.
Yeah, cool. And that makes sense.
Well, hey, Coach, since we're talking about players and everything, and I know you said we all kind of, and our audience is kind of learning the process as far as what the D3s are looking for. So what type of players, I know 22, we're already in the 22, 23 season. What kind of players are you guys, or how do you look for players, or what kind of players do you look for? Do you look at what your seniors are doing? Because I'm understanding that most D3s usually have a 4-year, take that player to a 4-year commitment, right?
I mean, it's no different than anywhere else. There's just we hope, but how the transfer portal and stuff goes, you never know how that affects and what they think and stuff like that. To be honest with the transfer portal stuff, if you're trying to tell someone, hey, come play here for a year and then enter the transfer portal, you can go somewhere higher, that really doesn't work. It's not a good fit. Not to say that guys won't try that, but it's to me just disingenuous about where you want to be. We want guys that want to be at Texas Lutheran for 4 years. They want to have that pride of being a TLU Bulldog, because from my experience dealing with our alumni and talking with them, there's a lot of pride that comes with playing at TLU and being successful and then going on and doing really successful things with your life. But guys come in with certain mindsets and stuff, and we really try to attract and really tell them what is really special about Texas Lutheran. And when they realize how special it is, you're going to get guys more invested. They're going to work harder. They're going to do different things and be more about the team aspect as opposed to the individual aspect. But most guys, they just got to work through that process and understand what they're truly looking for. But I can just tell you, the transfer portal, people are looking up. They're going to look at the D1s first, then they're going to look at D2s, and then they're going to work that. And it's actually, I think, impacting high school kids a little bit too, where, college coaches, they get to that certain point and they're like looking for, hey, what transfer can we get in that can really impact our program? So that, I think that's things guys have to really understand there. So when they get offers, if they're in high school, they really need to take them serious instead of like, well, I want to see what else is out there, because sometimes it won't be there for long.
Correct. And so what's the earliest for 23s to really start honing in on what college they need to start looking at? What's the earliest?
Right now, I think is really ideal. You have some guys that want to commit early. You have some guys that want to hold off. So you have like early signings and late signings and stuff like that. With us, we understand there's a little more things to factor in. So we don't really try to push guys to sign right now, because it's just, they got to make sure they know what everything looks like. But now, like October 1st was the day that you can fill out the FAFSA, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And now once they get that information, then we'll start being like, okay, hey, what are you thinking right here? But they kind of got to have an understanding. This is just me personally, because I think it's very rare. When you're being recruited by colleges, you are the level of what you're being recruited by. I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's not trying to say anything negative about anyone, but that's typically how it goes. So if you're being recruited by mostly D3s, but you're trying to look for that D2 school that's going to come in and offer you a scholarship, I just see it time and time again that very rarely, if they choose that D2 that comes in May that offers them, that they have a successful 4-year career. No, they typically are redshirted or going through very little minimal playing time, and they're probably typically not happy. Whereas if they would look at the schools that are recruiting them and heavily and showing that interest, you want to go where you're needed and where you're wanted. I think that's really important. So like, we don't have a huge list of guys that we're recruiting right now, but the guys that we are recruiting, we're showing them love, we're showing them the interest, and we hope it works out because we're on some pretty good ones. But they got to kind of understand sometimes it works out and they get late offers and they have great careers. But I just think more often than not, if you go to a place that is really truly invested in recruiting you, as opposed to someone coming in late or hardly talking to you or anything like that, that's something to really think about and understand.
Quick question. You guys have Isaac Orozco, right, from O'Connor?
He's a sophomore for us this year.
Can you just talk a little bit about Isaac? I think that's just, and this might lead into how you guys recruit San Antonio players or what other San Antonio players you have on your roster right now. But as I'm thinking right now, I'm just thinking about from O'Connor, Isaac Orozco. So can you just talk a little bit about Isaac?
Yeah, Isaac did a really phenomenal job. He was on the all freshman team for us last year as a point guard, which, you got a point guard that can handle the ball, take care of it, especially as a freshman. That's pretty impressive. He shoots the ball well, just very composed out there. So I'm expecting big things from him this year and going forward and stuff like that. And not only that, he's just a phenomenal student. He's a president of our student athlete advisory committee, which we have 2 representatives from each sport within our conference as well that kind of meet and do different things. And, he's a president of that going into a sophomore year, which I think is really spectacular. This summer he did basically like a student program internship on campus with one of his classes, and got to have some field work experience and things like that. So there's a lot of great things that are available to students during the time there. But Isaac's really, really a phenomenal player, great person, a good leader for us. And I expect him, hopefully he shoots a little bit more, higher percentages and stuff like that, but he's doing a really good job for us. And then, he's just a hard worker. I mean, I can't say enough about it, but I'll know this, but my time at Texas Lutheran, I think we've had at least one guy, if not multiple, from O'Connor or Clark nearly every year that I've been at Texas Lutheran. So I feel like that's a good trend for us with the success that we've had.
So real quick, Coach, excuse me, in reference to that, the young man from O'Connor, he got some championship experience also, right? Because last year you guys did pretty well in your playoffs or championship, right?
We did okay. I wouldn't say we did great. We finished, I think, 4th in conference last year. And then unfortunately we got knocked out in the first round of the conference tournament. But yeah, we had our ups and downs, with some of the COVID protocols that we went through. I mean, with the testing, we started figuring things out right around Christmas. We were starting to play really good. And then after Christmas, it was like every week we had 2 guys go out. And so it took a toll on us. So quite frankly, for us to finish 4th in that year was quite remarkable with everything we were going through.
Let's kind of, is there anything that you want to talk about as far as like your program, any type of promotional things, maybe anything coming up for the season, any fundraisers, anything that can help your program out? I'm not sure what you guys do at the collegiate level as far as, fundraising or events or alumni nights or games or even just season ticket sales or anything like that. But do you have anything that you want to just kind of promote or talk about on your end?
Yeah, our SID Bryce Hayes, young guy, phenomenal job with covering all our athletic programs. He does some good things. We just finished a couple fundraising campaigns that we did and did unbelievable. I'm so impressed with all the people that have gave to our program and stuff, and it's going to allow us to do a lot of different things and give our guys the greatest experience that they can have while being at Texas Lutheran. Is an important factor. But I know coming up, we're doing one thing this year that's kind of brand new. November 2nd, we're calling it Bulldog Bash. It's kind of like a Midnight Madness type thing. So we'll have like skill contests, 3-point contests, a dunk contest, and things like that, just to kind of get the TLU community involved, and the students on campus coming out and cheering on. We'll have music and a good time and stuff like that. So that'll be the first time we're doing something like that. I know later in the year, I believe like January 21st, we're doing um, uh, a time where we're going to honor our 95-96 hot conference championship team. So they're going to come up, and we're going to honor them at halftime, do a couple things with them prior to the game and stuff. But that's one of the things that we'll have on our schedule this year.
Nice. And then I'll be sure to look out for, your schedule and any type of announcements that you guys put out there online and stuff like that, and be sure to share that. But I guess kind of my final question is what advice would you give to like players right now, 2023s, 2024s, that would like to become a part of your program, that would like to get recruited by you? What should they do, and what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Best way is obviously email, but we get a ton of emails all the time, obviously with guys interested in trying to play at the next level and stuff like that. So make it unique. It doesn't need to be super long or anything like that, but make it personal. I can't tell you how many emails we get that they just send generically to every coach out there and stuff. So make sure it's personal. Reach out, have your high school coaches reach out, your AAU reach out. That's a huge factor. Because if we do get video with little highlights and we're interested, then obviously we're going to reach out to the coaches and communicate with them. It's like, hey, what can you tell me about this kid? And do you think he's a good fit outside of just basketball? Because we don't just want good basketball players. We want good people that are going to be invested in being at Texas Lutheran and fitting into the culture that we have. So we're very deliberate in who we're trying to go after and stuff like that. Obviously we're on a good list of guys that we're recruiting right now, and that's where our focus is going to be until they say yes or no. That definitely will factor into what we do. But we try to be very honest in our approach. Hey, look, you're not a bad player, but this is kind of what we're looking for right now, and so on and so forth. And we just communicate that so that they have an understanding, so that they don't feel like they're wasting their time or we're wasting our time, so on and so forth. But, be hungry, reach out, don't be afraid. Like if we don't respond within a week, like send another one, call our office phone. My cell phone's usually available. But just reach out, and as we get more information and more game film, and if you're a guy that we're wanting to recruit, then we're going to get out, see you, talk to you, and try to get you on campus. Thing, obviously, like we had mentioned, is you need to apply. You might be really interested in Texas Lutheran, but you have no idea what things actually look like. So doing the application, because it doesn't cost anything, is really important. Do that, do the FAFSA. So then you're going to see at least what the financial picture is looking like. And then from there, you might be like, oh, I can't do this, or I can do this. And then you want to try to look obviously into it a little bit more. So those will be campus. I can't, don't ever choose a place without seeing it. You need to see what it's like, see what the environment's like, coaches, meet other people on campus, meet some of the players on the team, so that you can kind of get a true feel for what it's like at Texas Lutheran.
And that was really good. In addition to just like sending you an email or, texting or whatever, what else can they do? Is it like going to any camps that you guys have going? Do you guys do open gyms? Like what else can players do to just, in addition to sending you the emails and reaching out to you, what else can they do?
We don't, like I said, we're not doing any camps as of right now. We might try to do one in the spring. We'll kind of see what kind of scheduling looks like and stuff like that. Sending us their schedules, different things like that, it is important. We don't do open gyms. Like we can't watch open gym, so that there's no benefit in coming up for an open gym. But just reaching out and expressing your interest and and sending us as much information in terms of, what kind of player you are, your highlight film, what your schedule looks like, coaches' contact information, all that stuff too. And then have those players talk to their coaches, their high school coaches, AAU coaches, and be like, hey, this is what we're looking at. Because a lot of the coaches out there, we're going to be honest with them, just like we're going to be honest with them. It's like, hey, I think this is the level you're at. I think these are the schools you need to look into. And then those coaches then can also reach out to us, because I take a lot of value from what high school coaches or AAU coaches say, especially if they're reaching out to us on top of that kid reaching out to us.
Hey, thanks, Coach. That was great, and I love how genuine you are. Like, I can just tell you have a heart for this game, for the players. You know what you have as far as that. You're with a good university and a good program, so it's not like you're begging anybody to come play for you guys. So thank you for those, for those tips and that advice, and looking forward to the season. And I'm in love with your program, and pleasure talking to you today.
I appreciate y'all having me. This is
Well, real quick, Coach, I got two real quick questions. In reference to the AAU piece, do you ever go out to any of the practices for any programs, or if they would like to try to get in contact with you via social media, what's the best route to go? Is it Twitter? Is it IG, Facebook?
I'm more of a Twitter guy. So, DMs or anything like those. I'll be honest, I'm really not, as young as I am, I know this might be shocking, I'm not the biggest social media guy out there. But Twitter would be the one that I kind of tend to lean towards and stuff like that. I really probably don't really Instagram. I just show off my kids all the time. That's all I do with Instagram. But Twitter is a good way to reach out and send information as well. But yeah, that's Twitter's a good one. In terms of going to practices, I can't say that I've really gone to too many like AAU practices. At least not in a long time. But we obviously go to all the AAU events. Alamo City Hoops puts on stuff, Gasso, a bunch of other ones that we go out to. And there's programs out there that put on elite camps and invite coaches to go. Sometimes we go to that stuff as well. So we try to go to as many events that we possibly can. That definitely helps. And in the high schools now, we will go to as many high school athletic periods or practices or games and stuff like that, just with how the scheduling works. That's during the high school periods and stuff. But we try to get out as much as we can, what we're able to do, and also not pushing us past the brink of exhaustion or anything like that. But really, when we go to athletic periods, it's pretty much, hey, this is probably a top guy for us. So we really want to just show them a lot of love and get out there. It's not so much for evaluation, so to speak. A lot of the evaluation occurs in the spring and the summertime when we're looking at guys.
And my last question, I always like to ask this question to all coaches, in reference to a brand new coach trying to, high school coach is doing it, brand new at it, trying to build his contacts up with college coaches. What's the best way to contact or build that relationship with that college coach and that high school coach? What advice do you have for that?
Just be genuine and reach out and kind of just be straightforward with it. Networking is a two-way street. You want to reach out, but at the same time, you don't want to reach out in terms of just trying to help yourself or anything like that, which is part of it. I had to learn that a lot too, because when I was younger, it was pretty much how can I get a job and do all this stuff and trying to reach out. And I've been very fortunate that through the things I've done, the connections I've made have led to step A, step B, so on down the road. But just be genuine. It's like, hey, I'm really looking to network and get to know more people and learn about more systems or whatever the case might be. And then as you do that, continue that contact and that relationship. Don't just text one time or whatever, just kind of genuinely try to reach out every couple of weeks or every month or so and it doesn't have to be basketball related at all too. It could be, hey, what are your thoughts on this or that, or and just build that. I love trying to network and people as I can and things like that. I know obviously as October basketball season is going to be heavy. So obviously a lot of our focus is going to be on the team that we have and what can we do with them. But I think building those relationships is key, not only for yourself, but also, hey, you might have a player in your program and stuff like that. The other thing I will say, I hear this all the time, coaches say, hey, I think this player would be great at your level. I think this would be a great person for you to have. And then the first thing we'll ask is like, okay, have you seen us play? Have you come to a game? Have you come to a practice? And most of the time is no. And it's like, how do you know this kid can play for us or even at our level? So I think it's really important. Yes, it's fun to watch the big Monday games and things like that, and go watch UT at Moody Center, and that's great. But go watch St. Edward's, go watch St. Mary's, go watch Texas Lutheran, go watch Trinity, go watch some of these games at different levels, so you can kind of get a better grasp on what it is. Because Division III is really, really stinking good. And I don't think people really understand that a whole lot. But there's a lot of good players. I think Coach Smith said it on his, like they're building all these high schools now, but they're not adding any colleges. Coach Wacker used to say that all the time. It's like, so the talent pool is getting, spread out. So I think Division III is a great basketball. It's more about basketball and it's about the experience. And I think that's what I really, truly love about this level and about Texas Lutheran. And I wouldn't have stayed here as long as I have if I didn't find this place to be super special.
Cool. Another question just popped in my head with how, quick you're saying D3 is growing. And that makes a lot of sense what you're saying, because I've heard that too. They're building a more high school. So you're getting more kids, you're getting more 6A talent, more 5A talent. Yet that just narrows the chances for kids to play at your level. So these college levels, D3, D2, all levels are going to start getting more competitive as time goes on, because like you said, they're not building more colleges, but they're building more high schools all the time. But this is my question that popped in my head. NIL, right? I know that's something that's still new for everybody. A lot of people always think D1 for NIL, and I don't know how much exposure your school or players have to that, but can they get NIL opportunities at a D3 level?
Yeah, it's open to all levels. Obviously, if you're what is it, the quarterback at UT Ewers, he's getting a big NIL stuff. Those high major guys obviously kind of get a little bit of more the endorsement type stuff. But NIL is open to in terms of NCAA, at least 1, 2, and 3. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of like the high dollar stuff, but there's opportunities there if guys are interested. Now we as coaches can't really push or direct them in terms of that sense. So it's really upon the player of reaching out and going to businesses and different things like that. And it is still new, like very, very new. I don't know a whole lot about it. But those are avenues to look into. If you got a local business and you want to go, hey, on this team and or play this sport at this school, I'd love to do some advertisement or something for you. If work it out, and then you just got to report it and go through the compliance, make sure everything's straight and narrow. But it is available. I just don't have too much experience with it right now, and it's one of those things I'm still trying to learn.
And I think so. My approach about NIL is that it's about your brand. It doesn't matter what level of school you go to. Like it doesn't. Of course, at the bigger schools, they got NIL deals from Bentley and Mercedes and all that. But again, those teams also fly on a private jet when they go to every game. So there's different. But I'm very interested in that. So right now, does anybody, have there been any NIL deals on your team?
Don't think so. Not yet. I say
And,
yet because I think it'll happen at some point, but not to my knowledge.
And if somebody did lock down an NIL deal, like you said, if they went, like let's just say one of your players talks to a local business, and let's say that they lock down like a $500 marketing deal or something, what's their step? Like if I'm talking about for current kids on your roster right now, because you said just they got to report it and talk to compliance. So is there like a form that they fill out, or how does that work? And the reason why I'm asking is because I think it's something that can happen, and there's probably kids that are wondering, like, what do I need to do next? Like, can I get this deal myself? Do I have to work with like a marketing company, or can I just is there a form I fill out? Do I just report it to my school? So like, what would be the next step if somebody on your team got a deal like today?
It's a good question. I will get back to you when I find out that answer, because I don't know it honestly. I don't know the exact steps and stuff. And I think I was looking it up the other day just to kind of try to familiarize myself with it a little bit more. But it's such a nuanced thing that, you know, I don't have a good grasp on exactly what the procedures are, or anything like that. So I'll have to get back to you in a couple of months, maybe.
I'm gonna follow up with you on that, and also I think that it is so new right now that I don't really think there are many rules because I've done my own research. Like, when NIL was first coming about, like I was on the NCAA website reading like the bylaws, and it was said that it was like left up to each school to come up with their own rules, and some of them said they had to report it. So I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
So there's also state that come into the mix.
The what comes in the mix? I'm sorry. State laws.
To
Okay.
follow the state laws with where you're at and stuff like that. So it goes beyond just like the NCAA allows it as long as what you're following whatever the state laws and stuff say regarding it as well. So I know that was one of the pieces I read. So I'm gonna have to find a lawyer that really knows stuff to figure that out.
Well, I want you to find out because, you know, we might have to sponsor a kid, you know? Who knows? What if we want to sponsor one of your players and just say, like, you know, here's a little $500 scholarship courtesy of the, you know, TBScouts Talking Head show. And we want to, like, you know, sponsor a player. Like, what will we need to do if we want to say, we'll give you, you know, here's this on behalf of our show? And like, that's legitimate, and we might actually do that. So I'll follow up with you because I think players have a lot more opportunities, and like I said, that can sweeten the deal for a lot of these players, even if you are at the D3 level, because it's not about what level of school you're at, it's about what kind of person you are. And you got players on your team that are good people and that people want to support and like and go out and see the games and all that. So
yeah,
you got my wheels turning, and I'm going to follow up with you about that stuff.
You got mine too. I'm sitting there trying to figure everything out, man. No, I definitely, it's something that everyone needs to really look into and figure out and ask those questions, because otherwise there's potential money on the table to be had. So I mean, if you want it bad enough, you'll work and you'll find ways to figure it out. So that's the other important factor. You can't have other people doing it for you. You got to go out there and do the work.
Agreed.
Well, hey, thanks, Coach, for coming, giving us your Sunday and spending it with us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all having me on, and I'm gonna go back to trying to figure out how to fix this garbage disposal.
The struggle is real.
Well, we look forward to checking in with you during your season, okay?
Sure, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Signing out.